declaration? I repeat, can I assign values to a two-dimensional array at the time of declaration? Yes, guys, we can do that. Yeah, watch this. Assigning values to two-dimensional arrays at the time of declaration. At the time of declaration. Okay? How do you do that? Watch. Int. Already said you. The comma indicates it's a two-dimensional array. ARR is equals to, open the curly braces. It's a two-dimensional array. The data should be in the row and column format. Okay? After opening the curly braces, now what you're required to do, each row data should be under a separate curly brace like this. Each row data should be present in a separate curly brace like this. This is the first row data. This is the first row data. Same way. Second row data. Third row data. How many rows you want? Give them. How many rows you want? Give them. Finally, close the braces. That is how you are required to perform. Okay? So the square brace here indicates it's an array. Under that again, each row should be under the curly braces. So this is the process how to assign values to two-dimensional arrays at the time of declaration. Declaration time, initializing a two-dimensional array should be done like this. Single dimensional array, open the curly braces, directly assign the values. Already we saw in the yesterday session only. But what I did not show you is for two-dimensional arrays. This is how you just create a two-dimensional array at the time, assigning at the time of declaration. See, for single dimensional, already explained you, assigning values to one-dimensional array at the time of declaration. How do you do? Int ARR is equals to, open the curly braces, and straight away you can put all the values into it. Something. But for two-dimensional, you're required to start the braces. Again, every row should be under the braces. Okay now? Fine. So this is about single dimensional, two-dimensional. Now the next thing what we are going to learn today is, guys, it's about a new thing called as Zack arrays. A new different thing called as Zack arrays. What this Zack arrays means? Listen. I'm developing an application for a school. I repeat, I'm developing an application for a school. Now in that application what I'm developing for the school, I wanted to store the total marks achieved by students in the classroom. I want to store the total marks achieved by students in a classroom. Suppose there are 30 students in the classroom. I want to store the total marks achieved by 30 students now. So one way you do is declare 30 variables and store. One way you declare 30 variables, like int student 1, student 2, student 3, like this 30 variables. And now each student marks will be storing in one variable. That is one way. Second option, declare an array with a size of 30 and store the values. Which one is better? Declaring 30 variables or declaring an array? Ultimately array. Because tomorrow 100 students are there, declaring 100 variables is a hell. Everything should have a name now. And that becomes a hell. So what's the best, simplest option? Create an array. Just create an array. Okay? After creating an array, you can start storing the data into that particular array now. So create an array with a size of 30 and start storing the values into the array. That's the best process. What array will you declare? Single dimensional or two dimensional? Come on, yaar. What irritating me? Open up. Right or wrong? Tell me. Don't sit silently. Single dimensional or two dimensional? Why you require two dimensional? Single dimensional enough na? What did I say? I want to store the total marks of 30 students. That's all. Why you want two dimensional now? Single dimensional enough na? Only total marks I want to store now. Each cell will store the marks of each student now. That's all. Then what is the point of declaring a two dimensional there? There is no point of declaring a two dimensional now. Single dimensional will do the job. Okay, but I want to store the total marks achieved by students in 4 different classes, guys. Not one class. How many? 4 different classes. Now you require to go for 2-dimensional. Now it is 2-dimensional. Why? Each class separate row. Each class separate row. Suppose the classes are first class, second class, third class, fourth class. Now each class is going to have 80 students in it. Each class is going to have 80 students in it. In this case, if you declare an array with a single dimensional array with a size of 320, it will be confusing now. So in this case, go for 2-dimensional array. Each class students in one separate row. Are you clear? What is the size of the array? 4 rows, 80 columns here, not 2 columns. 80 students are there. So 4 into 80. 4 into 80. 4 rows, 80 columns. 4 into 80, not 40. It is 4. Atharkan. It is 4 into 80. 4 rows, 80 columns. Are you clear? So now we'll go with 2-dimensional array. Unfortunately, guys, I faced a problem. What is the problem, In class 1, I have 50 students. In class 2, I have 60 students. In class 3, 80 students. In class 4, 40 students. So now, if I declare a 2-dimensional array with a size of 4 by 80, maximum is 80, highest is 80. So compulsory required to declare an array with a size of 4 by 80. If I declare a 2-dimensional array with a size of 4 by 80, I have a problem now. What is the problem? In the first row, 30 cells are left empty. In the second row, 20 cells are left empty. In the fourth row, 40 cells should be left empty. 30 plus 20 plus 40, 90 cells. 90 into 4, 360 bytes of space will be wasted off. Am I right or wrong? How much space is wasted? 90 cells here, int is 4 bytes. 90 into 4, 360 bytes of space is going to be wasted. It's going to waste you that much of space now. Clear, huh? Yes or not? So suppose you come across C language or C++ language. Okay? So to resolve this problem, what you require to do? You require to declare 4 individual single dimensional arrays now. Cannot go with a 2-dimensional array. You require to go for declaring 4 single dimensional array. One array with 50, one array with 60, one array with 80, one array with 40. Are you clear? Suppose you have 10 classes. You require to declare 10 arrays. You require to declare 10 arrays. Again, that will be confusing. Why? Multiple arrays to be declared and work with multiple arrays now. Okay? To overcome this particular problem, in they have introduced as a concept called as exact arrays. To overcome that particular problem, C# provides you exact arrays. What's exact array? Exact array is also 2-dimensional array. Exact array is also 2-dimensional array. It is also 2-dimensional array. But what is the difference between 2-dimensional array and exact array? In 2-dimensional array, all the rows should have equal number of columns present in it. I repeat, in a 2-dimensional array, all the rows should have equal number of columns in it. Okay? But when you come to jagged arrays, guys, the column size can vary from row to row. If you come to jagged array, the column size can vary from row to row. From row to row, the column size can be varying. That is the speciality of a jagged array. Means all the rows need not have the same size. One row, one size, one row, one size, one row, one size. But this is not possible for you in the C language or C++ language. In C, C++, 2-dimensional array means all rows should have equal column size. But in jagged array, we are given with the flexibility with a different column size for each row. Okay? Guys, I'm not taking 50, 60 lengthy. 5, 6, 8 and 4 I take. 5, 6, 8, 4. When you just take a different dimensions, automatically 50, 60 also can be used there, not a problem. Just watch it. I'll show you an image about a jagged array. Look guys, this is a jagged array. Got it? Understood? I'm talking with you only. See, if you're not interested, don't come to the class here. Don't irritate me. I just get angry if you don't reply. I'm telling very coolly and you're not replying, make me angry. be active in the classroom. Don't be lazy. Okay? So are you clear? So the array size is going to be varying. The array size is going to be varying. It's not going to have the same size. It's not going to have the same size for all the things now. So this is what we call as a jacked array. This is what we call as a jacked array. Jacked arrays have another name also. They're also called as array of arrays. Array of arrays? Yes, guys. Here, each row is considered like one single dimensional array. Each row is considered as one single dimensional array. Now watch it. 4 single dimensional arrays. 4 single dimensional arrays of different sizes are combined together to form a new array now. So that's why jacked arrays are also called as what? Array of arrays. Understood? So 4 single dimensional arrays are combined together, forming a new array in this case now. So that's what we just call as a jacked array. How to declare them I'll teach you. Just read this first. Read it. These are also 2-dimensional arrays only, which will store the data in the form of rows and columns. But the difference is, in case of a 2-dimensional array, all the rows will be having equal number of columns, whereas in case of a jacked array, the column size varies from row to row. Jacked arrays are also known as array of arrays because here each row is considered as a single dimensional array and multiple single dimensional arrays with the different sizes are combined together to form a new array. So multiple single dimensional arrays are there. All are combined together forming a new array. That's what we just call as a jacked array. Okay now? So shall we see how to declare an array with this size now? Now tell me, is there any memory waste? In case of a jacked array, do we have any memory wastage? No memory wastage. Why? You're exactly declaring 5 columns, 6 columns, 8 columns. Why memory wastage? Suppose you declare 8 columns in all, then memory wastage. But now there is no wastage of the memory now. Perfect utilization of the memory. This only explained in the last class also. Basically, memory management will be excellent in the modern programming languages. All these things are taken utmost care right now without wasting the memory resources to you. Okay? Fine. Now, let's see how to declare a jacked array. Guys, watch it. If you write like this, what is it? Single dimensional array. If you write like this, it's a single dimensional array. If you write like this, a double 2-dimensional array. It's a 2-dimensional array. Guys, if you write like this, it's a jacked array. This is single dimensional. This is 2-dimensional. And this is jacked. Okay now? One more thing I'll ask you. Guys, what is this? Integer. What is this here? Integer. What is this? Integer array. What is this? Integer array. Now tell me what is this? Array of. So simple English here. When I say single square base, what is that? Integer array. Another square base. What is this, guys? Is it integer array now? See there, up to here what is selected? Integer array. Array of integer arrays. Understood my point, all of you? Array of integer arrays. Okay now? So that's what. Fine. Now, let's see the syntax, how to declare it. Guys, I want to declare a jacked array. Int arr is equals to new int of, tell the row size, but not the column size. 2 separate square braces should be used there, not single square brace, 2 separate square braces. You tell the row size, but you don't tell the column size. Why, sir? Column size is varying, yeah. If I say the column size, then that becomes a 2-dimensional array. We don't know the column size. Column size varies from row to row. But rows are fixed. Rows are fixed. What is varying? Columns are varying. Reverse is not possible. Columns fixed, rows varying is not possible. Understood me or not? Rows are fixed. But what is varying? Columns are varying. Okay? Row is fixed here. So columns is going to be varying. Okay? Now, to declare a jacked array, array, in the initial declaration, we can only specify what? The number of rows to the array. Is it clear, all of you? What you can specify? Only the number of rows to the array. Okay? And what? After specifying the number of rows, okay, then we need to point to each row and specify the number of columns to that row. Are you clear? Understood or not? The diagram rows are also changed. Where rows are changed here? Srikanth, where rows are changed? Columns are changing or rows are changing? Guys, answer that. Columns are changing there or rows are changing there? The number of columns are changing, rows are fixed. Okay, so did you understand this note, all of you? First, what is it, shall? First, what you need to tell? Number of rows. Afterwards, pointing to each row, you need to tell the number of columns. First tell the rows, then point to each row and tell the columns. Okay? So look at this, all of you. What are you telling here? Number of rows. How many rows? How many rows? That's your choice. How many rows is your choice? Suppose I'm saying 4. Sorry, 4. How many rows now? 4 rows. I want 4 rows now. Okay now? So just watch it, guys. I specified the number of rows. Okay, just. Now after specifying the number of rows, now I should point to each row now. How to point? Listen. You have a single dimensional array. The name of the array is ARR. Now ARR of 0 refers to first cell. ARR of 0 refers to first cell. But in a jagged array, guys, ARR of 0 refers to first row. Did you catch my point or not? In a single dimensional array, ARR of 0 means first column or the first cell. But in a jagged array, ARR of 0 means first row. Watch it. ARR of 0, ARR of 1, ARR of 2, ARR of 3. ARR of 0 is first row, ARR of 1 is second row, ARR of 2 is third row, ARR of 3 is fourth row. Now you are pointing to the rows now. Got my point, all of you? Now look at this now. ARR of 0 means first row is equals to u int of 5. Did you understand now? I am telling the size of the first row now. What is the size of the first row? 5. Come on, you tell me the rest now. First, second row. ARR of 1 is equals to u int of 6. Next. ARR of 2 is equals to u int of 8. ARR of 3 is equals to u int of 4. Are you clearer? Okay? It's a lengthy process, guys. Tomorrow, if 10 rows should be individually initialized. It's a lengthy process. But remember a point here. How many times will you write the code? 1 time or 10 times? 1 time only, na? But remember here, the code should execute for n times. Here, your pain is not at all taken into count. So it is painful for me writing that code. No one cares. For that only you are paid money. For writing that only you are paid money now. Performance is important. Because the program executes for millions of times. Understood? Performance is important, or efforts are important. Who cares for your efforts here? No one. We pay for you for that only. Understood my point or not? So the performance of the application is important in this case now. So however you do, you take your print, write the code. But finally, performance point of view, this is the way how the declaration should be done. Okay? And that too, don't forget, you will write code 1 time only. 1 time also you cannot take the pain. Some people, the tool is required to write for all, yeah, you require to write. 1 time only, no, you do. But n number of times the code has to be executed. For performance is important, plays the crucial role for us in this context. I hope everyone is clear with this. Okay now? Fine. So this is how you declare a jagged array. This is how you declare a jagged array now. So first step, tell the rows. Next, point to each row and tell the columns. Okay? Now guys, by default here also, all the cells are going to have zeros. By default, all the cells are going to have 0 as a value. I just maintained a count there, that's all. 5, 6, 8, 4. Just maintained a count. But default value is 0 only now also. And what is this? Row index. And this one? Column index. How do you refer to the first cell? It's not 0, 0, yeah? 0, 0, yeah? But earlier, today we said 0, 0. Yes or not? Here it is 0 of 0. Two separate square brace should be used. Array, nothing here. For two-dimensional array, if I say error of 0, 0. So this is how you write in case of two-dimensional array. How you write in jagged array? That is how you write in a jagged array. Two separate square braces we used. What is the first one? Row. Second one? Column. Same thing only here. Row, column. So there, what we say? Row, column. But here say row of column. Row of column. Are you clear, all of you? This is how you should refer now. This is how you just require to refer. Two separate square braces are what I just used. Okay. Now, initially what it contains? All zeros. Now tell me, shall I print you the output row by row or in a single line? How you want to see the output? You want to see the output row by row, or you want to see the output in a single line? In a single line, if you print the output, how can I understand it's a jagged array? If you want to see a jagged array, means the output should be printed row by row. Then only we can understand this is going to be a jagged array. All values printed in a single line, no one can understand it's a jagged array now. Okay now? Let me show you the way how you are going to write the code for printing the things. Concentrate, all of you. I'm writing a program now, jagged-demo.cs. Using system, class, jagged demo, static void main. Okay, and now declare the array. Already I have written the code here now. Let me copy paste. So array ready. Okay. Now, first, yesterday for a two-dimensional array, by using a single for each loop, we are able to print all the values now. We are not able to see row by row, but we are able to see all the values at a time with a single for each loop. I want to try the same now here. Okay, next time I'll print you row by row here. First, let us use a single for each loop and see will it print me all the 23 values or not. 23 only, na? 5 plus 6, 11, 11 plus 8, 19, 19 plus 4, 23. All the 23 values, are they printed for me or not, we'll see. First we'll test with the for each loop. Guys, remember how did we use the for each loop? For each int I in ARR, for each int I in ARR, console.write I plus some space now. Afterwards here, okay, that line break will add, but that is the code we have written for printing. Am I correct? Come on guys, let's see. CSC jagged-demo.cs. Compiling the code. I'm getting an error. Read the error carefully. What is it telling you? Cannot convert a type integer array. That's printed on the next line here. Int array to int. I have a doubt now. Sir, where did they convert int array to int? But it is telling you, you cannot convert integer array to integer. And now you'll be wondering, so where did we convert this? We did not do any conversion anywhere now. Okay? So that is the doubt what we'll have in the mind. Okay, I'll clarify you. Once come back here. What is this, guys? Integer. What is this? Array of integer arrays. Now carefully listen. If I apply a for each loop on this, on an integer array, for each iteration what it returns? I apply a for each loop on this, for each iteration, what it returns? Perfect answer. Integer, yeah. Integer array. For each iteration, what it returns? Integer. What is this? Array of integer. If I apply a for each loop on this, for each iteration, what it returns? Array of? Array, it returns integer array. Yeah. Why are you telling array of integer? What is that? Same only. To speak perfectly, it's an array of integer arrays. If I use a for each loop on it, what it returns? It returns one integer array. Are you following me or not? So now, coming back to your code. Now see, are you using a for each loop on ARR or not? ARR is an array of integer array. Means for each iteration it will return an integer array. Integer array. Now read the error message, you will understand now. What is it returning? Integer array. How are you trying to capture? You are trying to capture in an integer. How is it possible? I am returning an array. You are capturing in an integer variable. Possible? Not possible, na? Did you guys understand or not? What is the return? This is a array of integer arrays. For each iteration, what it returns you? One integer array. But you are trying to capture it in a integer. That is why it is telling you what cannot convert an integer array to integer. Are you clear why you got this message, all of you? Yes or not? So how to fix it, sir? How to fix it here? Nothing. Here also, you do now. Now see, how I am capturing integer array? Integer array. I am giving a different name. IARR. Now tell me now, for each iteration here, are you going to get one integer or one integer array? Come on, just now you said again. For each iteration, what you get is an integer array. Integer array. First iteration, first array came now. First iteration, what came? First array came. What is the name of it? IARR. What is IARR? IARR is an integer array. IARR is a integer array. So what I am doing now, see? For each int I in IARR. For each int I in IARR, console dot write I plus space. Did you understand how to write the code? You cannot use a for each loop directly on a jacked array. You are required to go for using a nested for each loop only. So first for each loop will return you what? Integer array. Second for each loop will do what? Will pick each integer from the integer array and prints you now. Yesterday I said, you remember what the inner loop does? Inner loop is printing the values of a row. Now the row is array. One row or array is same only now. One row or single dimension, both are same. So it is going to print you. Now see, you will be getting the output now. All the values are printed here. Recompile, no errors in the code, and execute the code. Jacked demo. Watch. Got it? Yes or not? Are you using a single for each loop or a nested for each loop? Louder. Single or nested?
Single.
Nested. What the inner for each loop will do? The inner for each loop will print the values of a row. The row is nothing but one array. Okay? Now tell me guys. Here if I add console.writeLine, will I get the output row by row or not? Yesterday only explained to you. So this will print you one row values. Line break. Now you will see the output row by row or single line. Louder.
Row by row.
Row by row. You should see the output row by row now. Check it out. Jacked array. Check it out. It's a jacked array. First row has 5 cells. Second row has 6 cells. Third row has 8 cells. And fourth row has 4 cells. Are you guys clear? To simplify the code, how many statements does the inner for each loop has? One only na? Can I remove the curly braces? That is the code. So what I explained you, accessing values of a jacked array by using not nested for each. Accessing values of a jacked array by using nested for each loop. Is the code clear, all of you? Any doubts to anyone? Okay, so guys, I'm just going to teach you 4 different ways of printing the values to you. How many? 4 different ways of printing the values I'm going to show you. Combination. What is it? We saw nested for each. Same way we can use nested for. We can use nested for. We can use in different combinations like this. What you know? For each in for. For in for each. For each in for. For in. Different combinations we can use. Okay, now what I used? Nested for each. Am I correct? Now all of you tell me. The inner loop is printing the values of a row. Agree with me? What I'm pointing you 10 times, I said you the same point only. Inner loop is printing the values of a row. Can you print the values of a row by using a for loop or not? Can you print the values of a row by using a for loop or not? Yeah. Row based single time accelerator. Can I use a for loop or not? So I can replace this statement with a for. I can replace it with a for. How sir? Watch. Watch code, guys. Careful. See now. This for each loop, I'm going to replace it with a for loop now. How? For array int I is equals to 0. I less than I arr dot length I plus plus. I plus plus. Okay. Next. Console dot write I arr of I plus space. That's all. Single time accelerator, IARR is a single time accelerator. You are printing the single time accelerator values now. Yesterday your array name is ARR, today the array name is IARR. That's all. That's just a single time accelerator printing, that's it. See now, you get the output again. But both these outputs will be combined off. To separate them, let me write console dot write line here. Just going to bring you some line break. Not line break, I'm just drawing lines here. First, just a minute. On the top, let me write console dot clear. Just to separate the outputs, I'm just adding a line break there, that's all. You got the same output? Understood? That's my choice here, how I wanted to print it. You can just print in any way you just wanted to see. In any way you wanted to see the output. That's your option. Okay? Anyone has any doubts? I just used the for loop in case of for each loop. Okay now? Next. Again. I said, I promised you 4 ways I'll show you how to print the values. Now, first option is nested for each. Second option, for in for each. Second option is for in for each. Okay, let me write a comment here, guys. Accessing values of a jacked array by using for in for each. For in for each. Third option, nested for array. Third option is nested for. Nested for. Okay now? So just watch. I'm showing the third option for you. Nested for. Last class, you learned how to write a nested for loop for printing 2-dimensional array values. Do you remember? How did you write the code, guys? For int I is equals to 0, I less than arr dot get length of 0, I plus plus. This will be pointing to the rows. This will be pointing to the rows. Next, for int j equals to 0, j less than arr dot get length of 1. This will be pointing to columns. This will be pointing to the columns. And then here we have just written the logic. What? Console dot write arr of not I comma j now, I of j plus can add console dot write. And same story again, single statement, so I can remove the curly braces. So this is the code I explained to you in the last session to print the values of a two-dimensional array. Remember, guys? Yes or not? Okay, I'll ask you a question. Answer the result. Answer me, what will be the result? If I print AR.getLength of 0 on screen, if I say console.writeLine AR.getLength of 0, what will it print? How many? Tell me the result. Tell me the result. 4, 4. 4 is the rows. So what is the result? 4. Yesterday printed and shown you rows, AR.get 4 rows. Clear? I want the result. Don't tell me print me rows, print me column. Result, tell me directly. What is the result? 4. Okay? Now tell me. When I say AR.getLength of 1, if I print this, what will it print? I said, you tell me the result. Don't tell me number of rows, number of columns. I don't want that answer. Tell me the result directly. 5 or 6 or 8 or 4. How 6? What basis you're telling 6 here? Did not understand. Why you're telling 6? Because we have 5, we have 6, we have 8, we have 4. Yes or not? And you people are telling 6. On what basis you're telling? 6 is a blunder. Either you should tell the highest value or the least value. But you're telling 6. On what basis you got 6? Either you think you should get the highest value. What highest? 8. 8 is the highest. Or otherwise least value. But 5 and 6 are completely out of question. Either there should be 8 or 5, 4. That should be your answer. Both are wrong only. But your imagination, I'm telling you. On what basis you answered 6, I don't know. That is completely ruled out. Did you catch my point or not? Yes or not? So now see, when I asked you get length of 0, when you asked you get length of 0, all of you are confidently able to answer 4. But when I asked you get length of 1, I got different answers from different people. I got different answers from different people. Some people said 4, some people said 6, some people said 8, some people said 5. Are you clearer or not? I'm not getting the same answer. So means, we are only not clear what is get length of 1. Am I correct what I'm telling you? We only don't know what we get. Everyone has this different answer now. When you don't know, how do the computer know that? Is what I'm telling you all. Computer is not. Computer doesn't have brain at all first. It's a brainless machine. It will only do actions faster than us, that's all. If a human brain cannot answer, a computer cannot answer now. Are you clear or not? If a human brain doesn't have an answer, a computer also cannot do that. Is a computer going to be intelligent than a human brain? Is a computer intelligent than a human brain? No. A computer is made by human brain first.